If you've been grinding away making content, you've probably felt it. That exhausting, honestly painful hamster wheel of constantly chasing the next viral trend. You know the feeling? Staring at your analytics at 3 a.m., you get a massive spike in views and then crickets. You're right back to square one. Well, today we're going to break that cycle. We are going to explore a massive fundamental mindset shift. We're talking about transitioning from being a hobbyist who's totally depending on the algorithm's every whim to actually building a sustainable, resilient business engine. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to unpack this transformation in 5 quick stages. First are that creator versus content-preneur mindset shift. Second, automating your technical workflows for massive scale. Third, decoding the algorithm. Fourth, building your own email list. And finally, transforming a passive viewer into a passionate advocate. Let's dive in. Starting with section 1, the creator versus content creator mindset. Stop chasing viral trends. There is literally a tectonic shift happening in the digital landscape right now. The era of the hobbyist creator is dying. Just look at the stark contrast we have up here. The creator on the left is chasing vanity metrics and drowning in manual labor. Under that model, a viral hit is basically just a lottery ticket. But the contentpreneur on the right, they act like a CEO. They focus strictly on business KPIs, key performance indicators like email, signups, and retention rates. They drive sustainable growth through systemized optimization. Now, if you want to act like that CEO, you have to drastically reallocate your bandwidth. Because if you're spending 100% of your time glued to the edit bay, you're actually the bottleneck in your own business. Notice how the time splits here. 40% shifts over to operational design and email marketing, and another 40% goes to high-level innovation and strategy. That leaves only 20% for hands-on production and execution. You absolutely have to step back to build the infrastructure that allows your brand to compound over time. Moving right along to section 2, automating your technical workflows, the engine of scalability. Okay, so that major reallocation of time we just talked about, it is completely impossible if you're doing everything by hand. We absolutely need to systemize your production pipeline. And the way we do that is by leveraging AI as the ultimate force multiplier. Step 1 is human-led ideation. That's your creative spark, your unique idea. Step 2 brings in generative AI, like using ChatGPT to instantly outline market research or punch up a script so you can blast past the blank page in seconds. And step 3 is using AI suites for all those mundane, repetitive tasks, automated transcription, captioning, and formatting for different platforms. The key takeaway here is that AI doesn't replace you at all. It just frees you up for that high leverage strategy work. But hold on a second, a really quick word of caution here because this is vital. While AI handles the formatting and all that heavy lifting, the final product must retain what we call the human soul. Your unique point of view, your lived experience, your emotional intuition, that is your primary competitive moat. In an era that's completely flooded with AI-driven spectacle, human-generated content is what provides the authenticity that audiences are actively craving. Think of it this way, AI builds the skeleton, but your humanity remains the heartbeat. Alright, section 3, decoding the YouTube algorithm, the feedback loop. So now that you've got this scalable production engine humming, you need to know where to drive it. We really need to stop treating the algorithm like some mysterious black box. It's actually an incentive-driven partner. First rule, stop obsessing over total views. Seriously, vanity metrics are dead. Instead, you need to focus entirely on retention graphs, click-through rates, meaning how often people actually click your thumbnail when they see it, and deep audience interaction. If you see a dip in your retention graph, that isn't just bad luck. It's real-time diagnostic feedback showing a structural flaw in your product. You fix it, iterate, and optimize based on what your audience actually values. So how do we actually keep those retention graphs high? You use very specific script writing frameworks. You can use microdramas to create small immediate conflicts within the video that hook viewers early and maintain pressure. Then there are open-ended loops where you tease a payoff right at the beginning, but you purposefully don't resolve it until the very end. You've also got high-stakes tension pacing to ensure there are no boring lulls, because let's face it, a lull is just an invitation for a viewer to click away. And finally, try fragmented integrated storytelling. That's a fancy way of saying you create bingeable series that bridge the gap between videos, constantly pulling passive viewers deeper into your whole ecosystem. Which brings us to section 4, building owned email lists, the moat around your business. Let's move over to your absolute ultimate defense. Because listen, even if you perfectly master the algorithm, you are still building on rented land. Look at this quote, relying solely on an algorithm is a systemic risk. If a platform modifies its recommendation system, your reach could be severed overnight. That is the stark, terrifying danger of the creator economy. You do not own your YouTube subscribers. The platform does. If you truly want to protect your business from sudden external volatility, you have to move your audience off platform. And you bridge that gap by building a proprietary funnel using lead generation assets. Basically, you're offering genuine, irresistible value in exchange for their email address. This could be a high-value guide that solves a really specific pain point for them, an invite to a private newsletter, or some kind of exclusive digital asset. Use that automated high-retention content we talked about earlier to drive your viewers directly toward these specific assets. This makes your website and your email marketing strategy absolutely non-negotiable assets. They provide a direct, unfiltered line to your community that is completely independent of any third-party interface. Taking this step is quite literally the single most critical move in the entire Content-preneur process. Physically moving your digital assets from rented soil over to land that you own outright. Finally, section 5, from viewer to advocate, the Content-preneur sales process. So how do we tie the whole shebang together to actually generate revenue? Because a true professional doesn't just collect views, they actively build a pipeline. Here is what that timeline looks like. Phase 1 is awareness. This is the very top of your funnel, your initial YouTube video. Phase 2 is engagement, where they like what they see and become a subscriber on the platform. Phase 3 is that massive critical jump we just talked about. They become a lead by entering your proprietary funnel, joining your email list. And finally, phase 4, they become an advocate, a paying customer for your digital products, your services, or your memberships. Every single piece of content you make must align with moving people through this exact process. When you actually follow this blueprint, the results are honestly night and day. Just look at the massive gap in conversion rates between cold advertisers and an audience where you've cultivated trust. Because you aren't just interrupting someone's day with a random ad, you've actually spent time offering genuine utility and building a real relationship through your content in your email list. Because of that trust, your product naturally becomes a welcomed extension of your content, which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. I want you to really look at this question. Are you just chasing a viral moment, or are you actually building a lasting business? Remember, your digital footprint represents real-world assets. Do not chase the vanity of the algorithm. By automating those technical workflows, securing your audience with an owned email list, and mapping a crystal clear path from a casual viewer to a loyal advocate, you build a completely resilient ecosystem. Success isn't just a fleeting trend. It is a highly tuned system. So, what kind of system are you going to start building today? Click below for the best way to get started today.